I think so far in 2024, I've read 4 books. First was Twinkle Khanna's new book, Welcome to Paradise. It has 5 short stories about grief.
The first one that I read was Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood.
Right.
I'm planning to read more of Indian mythology because Greek mythology I'm a pro at now, from reading, of course, Rick Riordan books, Percy Jackson.
Yeah, I think I've seen this trend of people turning out to be like partners, turning out to be brothers and sisters. Here is a personal favorite, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, whether it be the movie or the book, it is amazing.
The person who said that don't judge a book by its cover was so wrong. Hello Booknerds, welcome to the Booknerds Podcast. We're new partner Kunzum Books and wellness partner Jivisa Wellness from the Himalayas. So today I have with me Vasudha, and today we'll be discussing about all the books that we have read in 2023, we are planning to read in 2024, and we'll basically just be recommending each other books. So the first one that I saw here in the bookstore is Don't Feel Stupid at 60 by Ajay Jain. And I know I'm not 60 yet, but I would read it from the perspective of don't feel stupid at 20. So it would be more informative for me, and the cover is so good as well. So I need it in my life. I need somebody to be like, don't feel stupid. So this book felt very much like a personal friend to me. The next book is the Sidney Sheldon's The Silent Widow. I've read Sidney Sheldon's 2-3 books as well, and the most favorite one for me is If Tomorrow Comes.
Right.
The pacing and the heroine, the main character, is so good. So I'm planning to read more of Sidney Sheldon's book.
That's nice.
Yeah. And so what would you recommend?
I think so far in 2024, I've read 4 books. First was Twinkle Khanna's new book, Welcome to Paradise. It has 5 short stories about grief, and Twinkle Khanna has definitely done better with her writing, and it is much more mature, and she is no longer the funny bones that we used to know, but a better version of it, definitely. Then second book that I read was Ghachar Gochar, which is a weird, unusual title for a book. Actually, you might be familiar with its author. Sakina's Kiss is by Vivek Shanbag, and the same author wrote Ghachar Gochar, and he writes in Kannada, and all his works are translated works. And Ghachar Gochar is a novella rather. It's sweet. It's about a man's sort of midlife crisis, but which happens right after he is married. He's unemployed, and many other things, but it's a nice twisted work. Third book I've read so far was A Respectable Woman by Estrine Kerr. She is the author is the first English language novelist from Nagaland, and it was quite a different sort of work that I have read so far. The fourth one was The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion. It is undoubtedly a remarkable memoir on grief and mourning, and I really enjoyed it.
You have such an elite book taste. Look at what I'll be reading. What I read in 2024. The first one that I read was Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood.
Right.
And I got recommended it to me by a friend, and it was such a it's an easy read, and it was such a cute, fun, loving book. And you know how books always makes us romanticize things, like ice hockey is romanticized by Book Talk. This book made me romanticize chess. Because and it was not just surface level chess, but it's our chess competition hai, we need to go there. It was they were actually talking about all the moves they make and all the competition that has. And it also talks about the women in chess, the lack of women in chess more particularly. And then after reading the book, I saw on YouTube and Instagram there were reels about a woman who is talking about how there is lack of women in chess. And I'm YouTube does listen to me when I read books because it recommends me the same stuff.
That actually makes me refer to The Queen's Gambit. It also revolves around the theme of chess and women in the sport.
Yeah. even the names are so good. Like the women, Queen's Gambit, no? It's the
Yeah.
name. The names are so impactful.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Right.
And I'm planning to read more of Indian mythology, because Greek mythology I'm a pro at now, and from reading, of course, Rick Riordan
Yeah.
books, Percy Jackson, and I would say I'm planning more to read now Indian mythology. So I want to start with this, The War of Lanka by Amish. Have you read more of such books, like Indian mythology?
I tried reading Amish. I'm so sorry if it offends anybody, but I don't think I'm much of a person, or I haven't stumbled upon the right book to get me into Indian mythology yet.
Okay.
Yeah. What else is in your stack?
Yeah. Okay, so this one I actually want to recommend it to you, like Cassandra Clare's The Mortal Instrument series. She has written more, like there's a prequel series to this which
Right.
talks about other people, but the same world. Then there's a sequel series to it. So like you would have loads of books to read. And The City of Bones, like her writing, her world building, like very, very beautiful. Her writing of characters is also very cute, and I would say you should definitely check out this. And you mentioned that you're planning more into reading young adult fantasy.
Yes.
Then do check out this book.
I actually have a question. Is the story in this book complicated? Because judging it by the cover looks complicated.
Yeah, like, are spoilers allowed? Shall I give you spoilers?
हाँ, दे दो.
So basically, the main hero and heroine, in the first book, they get together.
Yeah.
In the second book, they get to know that they're brother sisters. In the fifth book, they get to know that they're not brother sisters. So in the sixth book, they get back together. Did you follow the structure of the relationship?
It's like rewatching Game of Thrones.
I've not read Game of Thrones, and I've neither seen it. So I would watch it, I would read it, and then I'll get back to you.
I'll build some courage to read it then.
Yeah. Like, they're not brother sisters, as in, like, for the most part of the book, for the most part of the series, even I was like, oh my god, they're brother sisters, I'm heartbroken. But they, there were still feelings for each other. They still had. And as a reader, you're like, she's your sister, stop having feelings like that. But then in the fifth book, they got to know that they're not sisters. So everybody was relieved.
And this book, does it fall under like myth and fantasy sort of genre?
It's all about powers.
Yeah, I think I've seen this trend of people turning out to be like partners turning out to be brothers and sisters. Because I've seen it in The Silmarillion by Tolkien, and Game of Thrones as well. Like there is some sort of relation. But anyway, the chemistry is great.
Yeah, the writing style is very good. So you should definitely check out Cassandra Clare's book.
Yes.
So what more do you have?
Here is a personal favorite. The Perks of Being a Wallflower, whether it be the movie or the book, it is amazing. In the movie, the cast was amazing.
Yeah, so pretty.
Yeah. And it is a book that you would like to have as a friend when you are going through your teenage years, because you feel depression clinging on your shoulders, or you struggle with a lot of things, anxieties, and this makes you feel like you are not alone. Someone is out there and experiencing the same thing, and it will get better eventually. Then I believe, oh yes, The White Tiger. One book I don't exactly agree with. So in 2008, I believe, 2008, this book won the Man Booker Prize, and the another contender was Sea of Poppies by Amitav Ghosh. And a lot of people agree, a lot of people deny. So I stand with the former, that Sea of Poppies was better than White Tiger. And it's a good book about normal situation of a very mediocre man in Delhi who works as a driver, and a lot of suspense and thriller building up. But to compare it with others, this is also mediocre book.
Then I do need to check out that Amitav Ghosh book.
Yes,
because I read this, but I've not read the other
Amitav Ghosh is just splendid. All of his works, amazing. One book that I want to read is Prophet Song, another Booker Prize. This book won Booker Prize in 2023, and it has caused a rage. I would really want to read this book and The Bee Sting as well. So yeah, they're on my list.
The cover of this is so so pretty as well.
Yeah.
The color combination.
Yes.
It's like so to the point.
It's like it's a jigsaw. It's a normal, straight, streamlined picture broken into pieces, and that's how your life is apparently.
Wow.
We judge a book by its cover. We understand a book by its cover.
Exactly. The person who said that don't judge a book by its cover was so wrong.
Yeah.
I always judge a book by its cover. If the cover is not... But although I would say it should not always be true because I've read Ilona Andrews' book.
Right.
And I have read the Kate Daniel series. It's my favorite. The book cover, the actual book cover is good from book 8, 9th and 10th. It's like 10 book series. And in the first 1, 2, 3, 4 books, the book cover is not that good.
Okay.
But you should definitely check out the Kate Daniel series because it's a fantasy, but it's not young adult fantasy. It's an urban fantasy and it's so good. So talking about the book cover also.
Yes.
She also has a Wildfire trilogy.
Okay.
The cover is actually I would say a shirtless man.
Okay.
And I was like, when I saw the cover, I don't want to read it because the cover has this. But the storyline, it's so much different and it's so good. Like her world building is so good. She makes her characters complex and the relationships, it's not superficial. They have communication. So it's not like you want to bash the head of the hero and the heroine talk, but she makes them talk. Yeah. So I would say in case of Ilona Andrews, you should not judge the book by her covers, but rest you should do.
Okay.
And I also read this in 2023, Better Than the Movies.
Right.
It's young adult romance rom-com type, and the guy is a golden retriever. He's so cute, and this book is also getting a sequel. This is based in their high school. The sequel is based on their college life.
Right.
So you should definitely check out this book as well. Cute cover.
Yeah, it is cute. And the yellow is so eye-catching.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is so cute about it. And actually got gifted this for my last birthday by my friends, 6 of Crows. And I was waiting for them to gift me the second part of this duology, Crooked Kingdom, but they did not. So I need to buy it for myself. And the book is so good. And I would say they don't have it's not a fantasy of stuff they have magic and powers.
Right.
There's a very subtle magic going underneath through the storyline, and the characters are so good. It has also been made in a Netflix series where the Shadow and the Words trilogy.
Yeah.
They have incorporated the characters of 6 of Crows in it. So it's dono ka amalgamation. But you should definitely check out this book because the writing style is good and the storyline is complex and the characters, it's they are 6 characters. So the found family trope is definitely there, which is my favorite.
All right. I've already added it to my Minds TBR list.
Yeah, so any more books that you have read in 2023?
2023. There is one book that I would like to mention. It's called The Autobiography of a Face. So I did not read it by choice. It was more of suggested by my course. So I had a course called Life Writing, and in that this work was suggested by Lucy Greeley. So usually we read biographies, autobiographies, memoirs. The difference between biographies and memoirs or works of life writing is autobiographies begin from the birth to the time of writing or the end.
Yeah.
Memoirs or works of life writing begin in medias res at any given point, zooming on a particular event. So an autobiography of a face might seem like an autobiography, but it focuses on the writer's emotions and experiences she faces because she is struggling with the cancer, and because of cancer, a part of her jaw and face is destructured because of operations, and she struggles a lot because of it. So it is an entire narration. It is very humbling and makes you wonder about how grateful you are about a lot of things in life. So the most impactful thing about books is actually irrespective of genre. They teach you so much. Life experiences, you might not be able to live a lot of lives. You'll have one individual life, but you can live so many through the books.
Yeah, that is so true.
So amusing. And I think...
Actually, talking about that, the book that you mentioned, you said that the protagonist has cancer.
Right.
Yeah. So, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green.
Oh my God.
And, in the book, they read a book by the author.
Yeah.
And they're why did this story end in the middle sentence?
Yes.
And he's like, because my daughter died of cancer.
Yeah.
And that's how life is. It ends in the middle of a sentence.
Yes.
And I was like, the stories are, does the author realize that what beautiful sentence he has constructed from picking a few words from here and there, like they make it sound so simple, and then you think about it, you pause and think about it, and you're like, oh my God, how do you come up with this stuff?
Yes.
How do you actually come up with this stuff? So I was like, these are so good. Books are, the mentioning that we read, we live 1,000 lives.
Yes.
So definitely we live so many lives through these books.
A very trendy thing in our generation mostly is that if somebody says something very different or aesthetic, we say that you are being poetic.
Yeah.
It's actually a very common thing, like a very ordinary, natural thing that almost all of us are writers in some or the other way. We spill some words or sentences that just come out to be, that could be in a book.
That is so true. The English creative writing homework that we did in school, I'm like, are you looking at the stuff that I'm writing? It's so good. Even in the books, they asked to write any essays or something, and I'm like, please don't send this paper home, send it back to me. I need my writing.
Yes.
Because, some of the best work came under, some of my best creative work that came under the exams only. When I was writing for exams, I'm like, I won't see it again, ever again. And these are so good.
Yes.
So it's like, everybody is a writer.
Yeah.
In some sense.
One last book I believe I would like to recommend is Oedipus Rex or Oedipus the King. It is a play actually, one of the original tragedies by Sophocles, and it's like it's a complicated thing, and the character of Oedipus was the one on which Freud had built his Oedipus complex and Electra complex. And it is a really, really cathartic and exhilarating and annoying and exhausting play, because you are like, what has happened or what is about to happen, because even at the time when it was played during Sophocles' time, everybody used to know the story, but it was about how it was portrayed on stage, how it was written. Because they were dramatized during a Dionysian festival. It was an entire competition, and the competition was not about the story, it was about how it was portrayed and written by the dramatist, and the literary merit of this play is really good.
I feel like I'm going to write all these recommendations that you gave, because they are like so good. I feel like what I read is superficial stuff.
Oh, not at all. I have so many of these already in my TBR. I want to read these.
We are two different, like one end of spectrum, second end, on the basis of recommendations and books we have read.
But also coincide, like Fault in Our Stars, Harry Potter. There are so many.
These are classics.
Yeah, absolutely.
These are classics. And this is another book that I want to read in 2024, Beloved Delhi. I have been living in Delhi for 2 years now.
Right.
I need to romanticize it more.
Yeah, even I need to read it then.
Because when the starting I came, I was like, क्या है Delhi में? Pollution है, भीड़ है, क्या है और? First of all, I was like already homesick.
Yeah.
And then for the first 2 weeks in college, I didn't make any friends. So I was like, है ही क्या Delhi में? But then over the time, you realize, ठीक है, romanticize तो सही कर रहे हैं लोग इसे.
Right.
So I definitely need to pick this, Beloved Delhi. and the cover is so, the
Yes,
medieval India type
yes.
as well. So it's definitely pretty. And I read it in 2023, The Fourth Wing. It's a very book talk famous book.
Okay.
Like, it's so thick. I read it in the Kindle version.
Right.
Now I'm picking up the paperback and it's so thick. I can't believe I read it in a day.
Wow, in a day.
Yeah, I read it in a day and I'm like, look at the details.
Oh,
it's the detailing,
so pretty.
Exactly. So this is basically a fantasy. There's a college and there are riders, and each rider needs to bond with a dragon.
Okay.
And the dragons are supreme. Like, dragons decide if the dragon wants you or not. You don't decide if you want the dragon
Right.
or not. I'm like, yeah, we believe in dragon supremacy. And the first book is so good. The second book itself came out in November or December only, The Iron Flame.
Okay.
And I would say the story is good, but you can see that, how Book Talk has influenced the publishing
Yeah.
company. Because the book needs so much editing. Like, there are literal grammatical errors, there are typos, and then even the structuring of the book needs a lot of edit.
Yes.
So I would say that you should check out the book, but don't read it from the perspective of literature. Just read it for the
Okay.
feel, to gain what's the story is all about and the vibes of it. So I would
Right.
definitely recommend it to you as well.
Definitely.
And these are all the recommendations from my side, and the books I read in 2023 and planning to read in 2024. Anything else from your side?
I don't think so. Just a small mention of one last book, I guess. Okay, I read a lot of award-winning books or nominations. Now I'm tracing
I
it.
just realized all the books that you were like, this is Booker Prize, this is Booker Prize. And I'm like,
Yes.
what I read is Goodreads #1 seller.
Yes. So, Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Shri, translated by Daisy Rockwell. My mother says the original Hindi work was much better. Ret Samadhi, titled Ret Samadhi. It is about a woman and an old woman who deals with grief while trying to re-establish a bond with her daughter.
Okay.
And I also read a lot of books on grief because it is such an inevitable and irrevocable thing, and everybody experiences it. It is such a similar common theme, but it still has such uniqueness in every individual.
Yeah.
And this is one of such books. It is pretty lengthy, but as you have read that book in one day, I think you'll be able to read it. Although it is heavy.
That's all right. But like the mother-daughter relationship, it's so
Yeah.
complex, it's yet so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I was like definitely picking it up.
Yes, definitely.
And tragedies are so beautiful in themselves.
Yes.
It's like, when a book makes you cry, I'm like, yes, hit it right in the spot.
This Oedipus Rex will make you cry, but it is a different kind of tragedy because, spoiler alert, the king Oedipus kills his father unknowingly.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm picking up all these books.
Yeah, you should. I'll actually borrow some of your books.
Definitely. Because these are like light reads, fresh
Yeah.
light reads. Yours, I need to put my head in it and then read. But yeah, okay. And that brings us to the end of our session. Do check out the Booknerds on YouTube, and you can follow Booknerds on YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and also check out booknerds.podcast.in for all the podcasts of our Booknerds. Thank you.